shows you a story of a group of friends that talked about sailing to Cuba for years. In this, the summer of 1997, they did it.
Alright, my name is Paul and I was a skipper on this trip we went to Cuba this past summer. 4 friends of mine and I left Key West late one evening on about mid-May. We set sail for Cuba right out of Key West on about 7 o'clock, and the crossing was quite simple and easy, no major navigational problems. Taking about 19 hours to reach Cuba. What we're going to do in this video is show you exactly how to get there, what we did, the government, the customs, the immigration, just how informal and easy it is to get to Cuba. And the navigational aspect of it and all that stuff, we'll give you little bits and pieces of that, but most people can handle that on their own. And we met a lot of friends in Cuba. We went deep into the heart of land of Cuba. We did what we could in about 2.5 weeks of time we had there. And we also want to point out that it's not illegal to go to Cuba, it's just illegal to spend money. And we're not going to address the issues on the politics or anything else to do with the Cuban relations with the United States. What we're showing is just you can go to Cuba, have a good time, especially by boat, and come out no problem. You must obtain a cruising permit from the U.S. Coast Guard in Miami to enter the security zone which has been placed around Cuba. And the best luck we had was faxing them the request as opposed to trying to call. And there's certain publications in the United States you can find this information out, but it's called the cruising permit to enter the security zone around Cuba. Once you have that in hand, really that's it. You just get on your boat and go. And these shots now you're seeing now on the tape is as we approached Havanna after the crossing of the Florida Straits, and that shot right there, that water tower just to the right of that is the Marina Hemingway, which we're bound for here. We started calling the marina 12 miles out, had difficulty raising them. Unknown to us once we got there was their tower was out. And this is a sea buoy just off Marina Hemingway, which would be the first navigational marker you get to. The charts and guides said it was red and white. It's mainly rust. And here's a shot of inside our boat while we're still making the passage from the buoy into the marina. It's quite straight shot. There's a couple markers on each side as you go in, red and green. Just stay within those. There's a couple reefs out there. Just watch for those. They're marked. And as soon as you get into the marina, just look for your left. There's a little building there just past the Marina Hemingway welcome sign. And it's a little small building. Just tie up to that as soon as you get there, because that's where the customs and immigration will board you and put you through all the paperwork entailed in going into Cuba. Here I am trying to still raise that radio tower that's out. And like I said, later on we found out we were calling a handheld VHF, which is on someone's side. So we didn't get them until about 100 yards, 200 yards off the coast actually. So a nice shot of the flags we had up. Don't forget to take your Cuban courtesy flag and fly it always. And here's those marks I told you about entering the marina, by marking the reefs on each side of these. Like I said, just stay within these and you'll be fine. And now we're inside the canals being directed to our slip. We found it easier not to travel around Cuba by boat, because each time you leave and enter our harbor or anywhere you have to clear customs again, and it's a paperwork it took us about 2 hours with 5 people. And luckily we didn't run any problems with everything ready. Have your passports ready, all your documentation, everything ready to go, maybe a cold Coke for these guys because it's quite hot with all of them sitting down in your boat or whatever. And this was an interesting sight to see a jet ski here in Cuba. We were surprised to see that buzz by us. These are the immigration customs guys. There they are checking our weapons, which they took and gave us back on our departure, giving us receipts.
Yeah, friends in Cuba. Excellent, thanks. Oh, yeah.
You all Englishman?
No, American.
American.
But the Englishman is different of
That's, yeah, but that's CIA, see, they have special things
No,
like
because
passport.
I know many Englishmen here, but more.
Yes.
He's
Well,
good
that's
guy.
because the CIA, see, they print these things.
Yes.
You're English, whoop, you're Jamaican, you're any passport you want.
But this guy is a good guy.
There's a couple of my first and second mate finally arriving there at Marina Hemingway in Cuba. Elated to be there and actually clearing customs and having a kind of a free ticket to go where we want and do what we want to do. The Cuban immigration, the customs, the agriculture people, the welcome committee, which is just fantastic. They're real helpful and easy to get along with. Here's a friend we met named Alex that had a Peugeot that rode around with extensively. We became a very good friend of his. And that car had to be pushed off more than once there. And it didn't like the rain any time at all. Every time it rained, that car would have to stop or basically slow down. But we had a great time with Alex. He showed us Havana and took us to his parents' house in Trinidad, which we'll get more into that as we go here. And he took us to many places that no guidebook ever could, because like I said, he's a local Cuban. And here we are leaving Marina Hemingway in his car, bound for our first sightseeing day in Havana. We just loaded the camcorder up and hopped in the car and went on downtown Havana like you would to any other city in the United States. What's amazing about Cuba and the anticipation of going is all the things you hear and the stories. You went to Cuba, you're going to Cuba, oh my God, are you crazy? And basically once you get that cruising permit from the Coast Guard, just get on your boat and go. It's quite simple. And pull in, call, say, hey, this is so-and-so boat coming into Cuba, request permission. They'll come back, very friendly, welcome you in English to Cuba, ask you if you've been there before, and from there it's just fantastic. And this is the main road into Havana. We will eventually get on a place called Embassy Row, which I'll point out the Russian consulate, Russian embassy. And I don't know if you can hear the water in the background. I'm actually recording this in my living room. I tried to do it at the office and the studio, but we had too many distractions.
Yes, it's forbidden.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
it's forbidden. The law. Yeah.
What is it?
Taxi driver. Me like taxi driver. Yeah. We go to the beach. On the beach.
As friends.
Yeah, on the beach.
That's Alex telling us where we're going to go to the beach and everything. And trying to explain to him, to us, that he's not our taxi driver. We said, no, we're friends. It's okay. And just tried to keep it that way. Here's a shot of the Russian embassy as we come up on Havana here. It's an ominous looking building. And like I said, I am recording this in my living room, so if the phone rings or a dog barks in the background, you know what it is, and if it gets too much of a distraction, I will pause the tape here. And these are the shots of some of the old mansions on the way into Havana. We found the exchange rate to be $1 for $1. It's equal, which is strange. This is a shot of the monument dedicated to the men of the USS Maine. And we're just about to get on the famous Malecon here, which the left side of the shots would be out to sea, and here on the right side is the hotels and buildings. Bicycles and oxes and horses and donkeys, anything that moves or you can get on is transportation in Cuba. And throughout this entire video you'll be watching many such things. Alright, there's a shot of a nice statue there on the Malecon in downtown Havana. Unfortunately, we tried many books and pieces of information trying to find the names of these statues, but we could not due to the time frame we had to get this video out. So if you grab a Cuban book or anything, you can hopefully find the names and the history behind these monuments and statues, but there again, we could not, so we apologize for that. Besides, it'll make it interesting if you go out and buy a Cuban book, maybe it'll get wrapped up in it like we did. We studied the history and the charts for years before we went, and we just got tired of talking about it, so we finally just got on the boat that late May one day and just booked. This is the tunnel built by the French that goes under the Havana Harbor, and it actually goes under the El Morro Castle, which is also located on the east side of Havana Harbor. So it actually goes under both of them. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to visit the El Morro Castle, but if you do get to Havana, definitely visit it because it looks impressive. We have a lot of outside video shots of it, but none from the inside. Here's a stadium that was built for the Olympics when they came to Cuba. Great shot. And now we're on the other side of the tunnel heading to the beach on the main, I guess you'd call it a highway. And now we actually detoured from the beach due to the rain, and now we're going to Alex's house. little change of plans here, and here we are inside Alex's apartment. There are no homeless people in Cuba or unemployed because everyone is government employed and government housed. And these are the interior shots of the place. He had a nice view, and we're about to go and check out the panoramic view he's got of Havana here. This is looking back across the harbor. You can see it very far in the distance there. One of my crew members told me to get a shot of that. These are some Cuban children we met on the street, and one of my crew guys had a video camera with that screen.
How are you? Are you having fun?
And what he did is he videotaped them and then played it back on that little screen for them to see, and they really enjoyed it. I think it's the first time they've ever seen themselves on TV. We shot this just because it looked different. Some guy and a dog standing on a roof.
What we're looking at here is Havanna Harbor, and we're panning back across the harbor back to downtown Havana. You can see the rotunda of the Capitol there that we've just passed.
So how's the rent-a-car doing, Rudy?
Oh, we're doing great now. I've heard so much about Cuba, I don't understand. All Americans should come.
The bar Cafeteria Los Morales in Pinca, I think, and they're open 24 hours for the weary traveler. We've had a little problem so far. We had some water, some bad gas, and the car was choking down, but we're doing okay so far. We're hanging in there.
Here's a shot of the main interstate that runs through the middle of Cuba. Notice the lack of heavy traffic, unlike our interstates. We're now bound for Alex's parents' house, which is located in Santa Clara. It's about a 3.5-hour drive.
We leave from Havana. We from Havana. Go for 5 minutes to my house, and then go to here to Santa Clara. But we have a little problem with the benzene. Maybe I think it's water.
See?
Water with benzene.
See?
We have problem, but we
Faster.
150 kilometers per hour.
See?
And the bomb is going. We are here.
That's very good.
We're in Alex's house.
That was Alex's mother in the middle there, and that's Alex's mother's apartment in Santa Clara. He surprised them one night showing up about 10:30. And then this is the first day out of Santa Clara heading into the mountains. We asked Alex, what was there to do in Cuba, and he told us the normal tourist things. We said, we don't want to do that. We want to book and do the same things you do. And so he said he hadn't been to this waterfall in over 8 years near Trinidad, so here we are en route to this waterfall and taking some shots along the way. There's some Cuban schoolgirls. They wear the yellow skirts and white blouses. And here's some mountain shots. And we're about to pass a Cuban schoolhouse here, out in the middle of the countryside. And here's some, we stopped the car and got some roadside shots.
Here we are after having a drag race with a dump truck with sand on the back. We stopped at one of Fidel's watchtowers here, and it was in use for a good many years. And then you can see where the rust just corroded the bottom, and the guard fell through to his death. And since then, they've had no other guards here. So we stopped to pay our respects.
That was Linwood doing a little comedy spoof for us to break up the audio tracks here a little bit. And here's Jeff picking some bananas. Now we're hiking down to that waterfall that Alex told us about. It was about a 2,000 meter hike straight down, and it was very hot. about 85 degrees. Not quite as muggy as you'd think, though.
All right, go for it. Go to the Ford.
Hey guys, isn't there supposed to be a bridge around here?
We crossed a lot of small streams and things on the way down to this river and waterfall that Alex has told us about. And we take some shots on the hike down. Beautiful country. Definitely get out and see it.
Here in the Cabernet jump. It's a nice place. Look, Jeff.
See?
Yeah. It's local, man. But it's nice.
Very nice.
And here's a shot of the gorge, and there's Earl checking things out. Now this is about 1,000 feet above us to our right. The camera's maxed out at zoom to get this shot. By the time that waterfall hits the ground, it's a mist. It's not even a waterfall anymore. After hiking those 3 or 4 hours down into this, it was nice to hit that water, I'll tell you. Like I said, just ask anyone if you get anywhere near Trinidad where this waterfall is. They should be able to guide you. They used to run guides and things down through here, but they don't do it anymore. Luckily, Alex knew the way. Most of the crew and I were from the East Coast, around the South and North Carolina, and so this reminds us of the Chautauqua River. This is located just below those other falls which show those shots up. And this is like a little swimming pool under the rocks and things. We had a great time swimming around this place.
Come hike back up.
Now we're enjoying a number 5 Protagus
5 Protagus.
and some freshly squeezed mango juice.
Mango juice.
And we're getting ready to kill a chicken for dinner.
Yes. And
We'll see you at the beach.
hike up the mountain. And
On a burro.
no, hike, and exhausted, about to die. Linwood and Rudy behind us, smoking. Heck, I think Rudy threw up. I can hear someone back behind us throwing up. I think he lost it. So come around corner, 2 donkey burro, and $1, sure. Boom, donkey ride out of gorge. Send donkey burro back down to. Shut up.
This is a kind of a watering hole after you get out of the gorge. They sell you mango juice and cold water. And those burros we picked up for $1. Come on out of the gorge. And here it is getting sunset-ish for Trinidad, and we're trying to find a place to stay for the night. Some shots, and unfortunately most of the good shots we got like this were all hazy due to the heat. But on clear days, I'm sure it's even more beautiful than this.
He's got the handshake down.
Nice, yeah, guys. A nice house, yeah. The dog.
This is our monkey.
Those are guys hamming around the Suzuki we picked up. We parked the Peugeot and picked up a Suzuki. This is a shot from a hotel in Trinidad looking south towards the bay. Trinidad's a nice town. I heavily suggest going there. Here's a shot of a guy making cigars in the lobby of this restaurant we're in. Naturally, cigars were very cheap and very good. Unfortunately, I think there's a limit of amount of cigars you can bring out of the country, so you don't want to check around and find out what the limit is. Our policy on this was don't bring anything out, because like I said, it's illegal to spend money in Cuba. Well, the Cubans will let you bring anything out, but the United States Customs might have a problem with it. I think there is a limit. Like I said, find out. Call the customs agents and find out. Look at this puppy. That's a cigar. I think he'd be dead by the time you
Muy
smoke that.
grande.
None of us on this trip spoke fluent Spanish. We just knew a few words, picked up here and there, and including the radio chatter on the way in. It's not really necessary to know it. It does help to have, have it, but I wouldn't say it's mandatory. The Cuban people are extremely friendly and very helpful if you just work at it a little bit. And this is leaving Trinidad. We're going to take some downtown shots here of the main streets and things like that. And forgot where we're going now. Where are we going? We've left Trinidad, no doubt. And I think we're heading back to Havana now in this shot. And this is the countryside and the mountains. We want to take a different route back to see different things. And the more rural we went, the better it was. And here's the south coast of Cuba below Trinidad again. Now I'll let the music just kick on here, and you guys can listen to that great music score this friend of ours wrote for us. You hear that whistling all the time? De Niro whistle. Hey, there goes again. Alright, now we're in the lowlands of Cuba, heading back to Havana on some rural roads. And here's that tunnel we went under before, heading back to the other side, to downtown Havana on the Melicon. This is a hotel shot of a beach we were at in Santa Maria. And yes, they have CNN in Cuba. Their satellite dishes make it possible for them to pick up 90125 and all the things we get. This is one of the best beaches we went to. Most of the locals hang out here as well. And here's a shot one early one Sunday morning before it got crowded. And this is looking east. Key West would be just to your left here, 90 miles due north. And there's looking west, which I guess you'd be staring at Mexico and Texas. The water just off the beach is beautiful. It's shallow, it's sandy bottom. As you notice the lack of waves, there's a reef further out that blocks the waves. And I guess these goats, sheep, goats, whatever they are, to pick up the trash. And here's these little hutted cabanas, which we found all over Cuba. I think Fidel one day decided to have these made everywhere for tourists, and it's worked very well because every time you turn around, you run into one. And they sell cigarettes, soft drinks, beer and stuff. Small sandwiches. And here's looking west again on the beach on that Sunday morning. And if I had an expensive tripod, that's a $60 tripod I bought at Walmart. That's why it's a little glitchy. And these vacationers are mainly from Mexico, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Spain, Germany, England, France, all over the world with the exception of Americans. Americans would be the least amount of people you run into in Cuba. We did meet a few, but not many. When we did find them, we talked quickly about what our adventure was like. Here's Mayabi, a favorite beer of ours. They also make a darker version, and that's even better. We decided to get a shot of this so you guys can see what their beer looked like. And there again, you could pick it up for about $1. And this is a Hobie Cat on the beach you could rent for $10 for an hour, which is a great price. And we had some fun on that later this afternoon when the wind picked up. And the beach gets really crowded by the end of the day, and it basically turns into a big party. And basically we're staring due north here. If you could see that far, you'd be staring right at Key West. And here's some more of those vacationers.
Mándale un chuchito eso chiquitico, eso que...
Ayer fuimos al cine y miramos una película. Ah, sí.
Here's a shot of the Policio. They're everywhere in Cuba, dressed like this all over the country, and we felt very safe there. We left our boat at the marina for weeks on end unattended. No problems. Anywhere we went, we felt safe late at night, whenever it was. They go around checking papers on people, and anybody keeps any problems. And here's that same cabana you saw in the morning, getting a little more crowded as the day wears on.